So we would get wet from where he has shown you over there, and then we used to come and jump over here, and then lie down over here and dry ourselves and tell stories. The stories were lies sometimes, most of the times, exaggeration, adventures of all kinds of situations, fights. I remember the fights. I remember fights almost every day. So now we are exiting Mapebi or Kithayone Market. We're going to explore some of the places I used to hang out as a young kid. And it seems like Kithayone soccer field is still here. We used to play soccer here. We used to do all kinds of activities here. I think they are doing something with the space. I don't know what they are planning to do. I hope they are not trying to build something on it, because it has, I think the children around this area should enjoy it like we did when we were growing up. But I'm hoping they're improving it. Yeah, that's where we used to go. That's where we used to play. So Mumbuni High School and even Mumbuni Primary School, the origin is was on these grounds. This is where those schools were. But then they were moved so that they can build Scott Theological University on those grounds. So we were moved to the schools I just showed you. But this is where I went to primary school, which now is university. Yeah, these were our grounds. It looks so totally different. I can almost not recognize it, because it's totally, they demolished everything which was here and built a university. It's called Theological University. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go in here because really I have no connection with it at all, besides them moving us from here to the new location where we went to school. Yep. So we can explore some of the areas I used to hang out as a young person. This is where we roamed. This road is as old as time itself. That was always there. We're going to explore where it will lead us with all changes. It's amazing that I used to know 100% of everybody who lived here back then, but right now I do not know anybody here, basically. So there's a vehicle coming from the other directions. We have to pull over, give it space to pass, and then we continue with our journey. So this is my village, definitely. I know these homes. I have memories, fond memories of the area, fond memories of my friends who I grew up with. Do I know where they are today? Oh, not much. I know a few of them, but most of them are not in this village anymore. This junction here was called Kwandaise Emutene. There used to be a big tree over here, and it used to be like a landmark, this corner here, and it seems like they are cut it. This area was called Kwandaise. Ndaise is the homestead, which is on the left hand side, and then cars were, this was not possible with a car, but it seems like they have improved the infrastructure around here the best they can. There was a lot of farming activities around here, and it seems like they're doing that, but it has changed. It used to be coffee plantations, and look at this coffee. This coffee looks terrible. It has been neglected. We don't do coffee here anymore, it seems. And I think one of the reasons is because land became a little bit scarce as population grew. So the land became smaller and smaller parcels, so maybe it does not make commercial sense to grow coffee in the area. It's pretty crowded right now. This used to be open This is Kingangani town. No, can I call it a town? No. It used to be one shop. Back in the day, used to be a grocery store, but it seems like it has a few more from those days. This is Kingangani. This is where we used to buy candy, mandazi, snacks, hang out when we were growing up. We knew everybody around here. Now we don't know anyone. And life goes on. Yeah. I'm seeing so many different things I've never seen here. I haven't been in this area maybe probably the last time I was here was 5 years ago. It seems like they keep on growing and new buildings coming up. Yeah. So now this is Eveti Hills. This is we are heading to where I was born myself and where my father was born and raised. That's where we are going to go. And that's Eveti Hills. And the local area is Ekokani. That is where we are heading. And if I still remember, it will be the end of this road. Beyond where my father was born and raised, we cannot go further. But again, let's wait and see. Yeah, so my father was born in this area. Most of these homes around here, they are my relatives. My grandfather owned the land. Most of the land on the right, that's my cousin's house. And then they donated some of the land here to build this school called Ekokani. So I think this is the end of the road. We cannot go beyond here, but I'm going to park at my cousin's compound, and then we can walk and see what is in front of us, and then I'll come and say hello on my way. I should say hello now, right? Yeah, let me say hello to her. Yeah. Okay, this is Ekokani. It's in the village I grew up, and there's a Ekokani primary school here. As a matter of fact, me and my children, we donated 3,000 books once from the US, and we built a library in this school. There's a library we built. We had 3,000 books, but I don't think we are going there today. So, yeah, Ekokani. Okay, so behind that rock, you can see that rock in front of us. And I don't want to take video close there because there could be some people who require some kind of privacy because they're doing their thing in the river, washing maybe. So there's a pool down there, not a pool, a pond. And that was the village swimming pool. We used to hang out there. Then we'll dive in that little pool down there. It must be like what, 3 meters? By maybe, it was not even deep. And then we will come and sun ourselves on top of that rock right there. It was called Kwakasengi Port. Yeah, that's where it was. Part of the village life. So my parents were coffee farmers. I was raised on coffee. Well, my father was one anyway. But we were serious coffee farmers. And I don't know what has happened to coffee in the last few years. The factory or the aggregation area where we used to aggregate that coffee was this area. This used to be a very big thing over here, Tendeliani Coffee Factory. Now it is closed, and most of the income in this family was coming from coffee. So I think now it has shifted to macadamia nuts and avocados and mangoes. But this was a main thing, and we would come from school to go and sort the coffee and work in the factory because it was a co-op, so it was membership, and every farmer or every household that had coffee was obligated to come here every Saturday to take care of the coffee parchment. We used to bring it here as fresh coffee, and then there's a pulping machine, and I think we'll be able to see it on the other side. That's the warehouse, and the pulping machine was right behind this fence. I think we are going to be able to see it. So it used to be a because all the village kids will meet there because we were all coffee farmers, and then that's where we tell our stories, just big kids around there. So this is Tendeliani Coffee Factory, and this is where we'll bring the coffee. We'll bring the cherry from the farm, and we'll bring it over here under that shed, sort it, make sure that we do the quality side of it from there. The ripe ones on one side, the yellow ones on the other side, and the green ones on the other side. And then the pulping machine is a little bit on the other end over there. Then there's a weighing scale over here. After you sorted your cherry, you go to that little building at the corner down there, and they weigh it there. There was a big weighing scale on every brand. I remember it. And then they'll pop that, and that's how our parents made their income around here. Most of us here were raised on coffee. All this land you are seeing around here was coffee. Now I'm seeing mangoes and all kinds of other trees. And yeah, that's where I grew up. I have one interesting story over here. So this is the nearest river to my house. My mother's house is just across the street. This is the street, or what is it? Yeah, it's just across over there. And this river used to be full of water. And this is where we used to do our laundry. You can see the water down here. It's not dry. The water is still running. And we'll do our laundry here and hang it on these rocks dry. And then we'll be playing cards around here. And when I was young, most of you have noticed my teeth have this gap, and you can take it. See this gap over here? This in Kikamba is called chadhi. Chadhi. And this is what happened. So one day I remember we were swimming down here. I'll show you exactly the spot. So we were swimming here, and I remember that specific day because that same day my uncle was actually being buried. He had died, and we were buried, so we were not in school. So we were here hanging out as usual, and down here, Tendeliani, right here. We used to slide over here. This thing is very slippery, so we slide around it. And that particular day, I was pretending I was skiing. I don't even know how I knew there was something called skiing. And this little thing over here, you see, it's not flat over here. There's this little, what am I going to call this here? Slope. This slope over here. So I lost control right over there. I hit this rock right here with my teeth, right there. And that's how I got this. It came from right here. It is amazing that I can come back and remember that story at the same place where this all happened. Yeah, so this is Tendeliani, and kids in the village, anybody who grew up around my time, and even behind the kids who are behind us, everybody has a story to tell about this river and this place over here. But it used to look like it is like 100 meters or whatever. But it looks like it's only like, how many meters are these? How many feet are these? I'll say 15 feet. It used to look like it was something like 40 feet long. But I think when you are a kid, small things look big, definitely. And that used to be a pond also. We used to swim in it too, but that one we had been warned by our parents not to do it because it was deep. And rumor had it that a kid had drowned there like 1,000 years ago. But in my lifetime, we never saw any drownings around here. So that's another story I need to check up with, I don't know with who, because most of the people who were back then who could tell that story, I don't think they are alive today. Yeah, so that's the other side of the coffee factory. Those are tanks, because what you do with the coffee is after you bring the cherry, it's pulped. And the pulping is, you see that taller building over there? There's a machine down there for pulping. And then you are supposed to soak the parchment now. It's not cherry anymore, it's pulpment of coffee in those tanks. There are some tanks under that roof, and you soak it for 72 hours so that It has a mucus kind of covering on the coffee bean, so it is fermented down there so that now it can be dried. And then from there, used to be taken to Nairobi. That coffee is taken to Nairobi to be processed into the green coffee, which is what is roasted for you guys to have a cup of coffee. Yep, the stories I have of this area can make me cry. A lot of stuff happened around here. And I think one of these days I'm going to start revisiting those stories. Even if I'm not going to be on site, but I'll be telling some stories because now they're coming clearly in my head. I'll be telling them from another platform. I don't know where I'm going to be doing it, but expect some stories from this area here. A lot of stories. Yeah, so this is it. This was the center of the activity in the village. And I'm talking about when we were say from kindergarten, I would say to around standard 7, because now from standard 7 you go to high school and the game changes. So we would get wet from where he has shown you over there, and then we used to come and jump over here, and then lie down over here and dry ourselves and tell stories. The stories were lies sometimes, most of the times, exaggeration, adventures of all kinds of situations, fights. I remember the fights. I remember fight almost every day. There was somebody fighting somebody here, and then we'd be cheering. Again, there wasn't much to do, so our days we used to just create something, some activity to keep ourselves busy. Wrestling was one of them, fighting, all kinds of stuff, and telling lies. Yep. So, yeah. One day I might come back over here and try to remember some of those stories. So you can see all those bananas, that green you are seeing over there are bananas. We used to have coffee there, now they're planted bananas. Oh, it's a good number of bananas there. I think my mother is doing okay as far as farming is concerned. Yeah, and, she replaced the bananas with the coffee with bananas, and you can see the result. And it stretches all the way. I think this is about 10 hectares. It goes all the way down to the river this way, and then it goes all the way up. And basically that's what educated us.